What's going on, everybody? Welcome into Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. Yesterday, we didn't have any show. There was no games in the WNBA, but today we do have four. So get back after it here today. Vino, um, did baseball pull you in? Did you do anything yesterday?
I did not. Skee's not pulling me in. I was busy. Um, hey, they gave us WNBA lines a little bit early so we could do the work yesterday, which was nice on a day off from the NBA and a season-ending NBA. And then I moved a little bit towards college football. So it's about that time. You and I were talking about it the other day. What our plans are to get going here with football for the summer. So, yeah, it's that time of year where you can do other things and look ahead a little bit.
Not that long, like what, a little more than a month for college football. So
Hmm.
it is approaching rapidly. Shout out to everybody in the chat. We appreciate you guys tapping in. And I know there's some people who can't even comment. I mean, people watching on there's X, there's YouTube, there's Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. So I just want everybody to know you're appreciated no matter where you're listening. And yeah, there's options to pick where you want to hear the show from. And Mark, yes, we were just talking about that. He says these W lines are moving like crazy. Well, usually that will happen when you get them a day early too. Like you give everybody so much time to look at them. It doesn't take much for these W lines to move. But we'll talk about them. We have four games. Appreciate you, Mike. KC reminding everybody to hit the like button for us. Definitely helps out the show. And let's see if we can help you guys make some money today. First, we'll go Atlanta Dream, Dallas Wings. Opened up, and that's 621, 622, by the way. Opened up minus 8.5. Looks like nine pretty much across the board. Total open 166 and a half, and it's as high as 169. Um, Vino, I mean, we talked about this too, but one of our databases is not working. So apologize if we can't get through everything like we usually do, um, or look up certain specifics. But I'll say this Wings team. Well, first of all, injury report. Dejanay Carrington is game time. Nobody on there for the Dream. Maddie Seager's out. So could be a couple key players for this Wings team out, but they have been playing good basketball lately. I think they've won two of their last three games, if I'm not mistaken. They definitely have been playing better since Paige came back. Eight, not 8.5, 9 points. It does seem like you're giving a lot to a team that's playing well right now. But minus Dejanay, I mean, the Dream have been on fire too. I really think the Dream can name their number in this game because the Wings defense, we know how bad they've been. I feel like every game eclipsed 170. So my initial thoughts are over or Dream. I'm curious how you feel about it, Vino. I have a feeling you've already played this game.
Yeah, I did. And you know which way I played it. I thought the total was a little light on the opener, 166 and a half. We're staring at 169, 169 and a half now. A couple of reasons here, Ski. I mean, if you were to ask, and I know that the chat follows the WNBA as intensely as we do, but if you were to ask others, casuals, even guys who follow it every single day, who's the number one offensive rated team in the WNBA? They're not going to come up with Atlanta, but that's who it is right now. Atlanta has stormed all the way to number one in offensive rating. They're number one in 3-point makes per game. The surge that they've been on offensively is absolutely crazy. Ryan Howard, Lisha Gray, they played five straight, 81 plus points in those five. Four of the five, they scored 88 or more. I think I've mentioned before about their second half, Ski. Their second halves just continue to be crazy good offensively where they're concerned. They've scored 41 or more in the second half of 13 of their 14 games. They averaged 45.6 per contest in the second half. Ever since Jordan Canada came back, it's gotten better. She's really integrated into that starting lineup now. And again, I'll mention the 6 and 7 on this team. Naz Hillman and Tahina Pau, they're playing great off the bench. So Atlanta's got a nice rotation working. And like I say, I was a little bit surprised when I went to do a couple of write-ups. I think on Sunday I had a play in the Atlanta game and noticed that they lead the league in makes from three, 10.6 threes per game. I think that's 16 or 17 against Washington the other day. They played Dallas once already this year, right? They played that game and they got to 83 points in that contest. And I think at that point there were injury concerns for them. So they should be able to do their part in this game. If you just want to look at the Dallas defensive end and what they're up against here, I mean, Dallas number 11 in WNBA, you mentioned they don't play any defense. They've given up 83 plus in 12 of their 15, 87 overall per game. It doesn't seem hard for Atlanta to get their share. But the good news, and I'll say this last bit about Atlanta, Dallas's three-point defense, second worst in the league. Percentage allowed wise, they give up 38.5% from three. So it's a nice matchup for Atlanta. But the good news for Dallas is they're just relentless pace, offensive rebounding, score buckets. They've gotten 80 plus themselves in 5 straight games since Paige came back. I think you said since she's come back, they've been better. It's been a different team with her running the show. They're scoring 83 a pop. 4 of those 5 games have gone over one or gotten to 169 or better. So the 166.5 obviously was a nice price, but here you're right at about that tipping point. And Atlanta's defense, I'll mention this real quick. It's been going backwards a little bit here. They gave up 80 Sunday to the Sky on back-to-back with travel. So you really shouldn't do that if you're a good defense. I know it turned into kind of a blowout in the second half, and maybe some of the 80 were cheap, but still, Atlanta hasn't played a lot of tempo teams this year. 5 games against top 4 tempo teams, 90 allowed, 86 allowed, 81 allowed, 75 allowed. And then there's a bunch of other games that I won't get into where they've given up big numbers. So I see both sides doing their share here, Skee. Like I say, 166.5 was a nice number. I still think it should get into the 170s. I've said before an awful lot that where Dallas is concerned, if they're not going to set the number in the 170s, then I'm going to look. Here I did more than look. I played open over 166.5.
I like it. B Daddy says the first half at 83.5 is worth a look. I mean, I don't really have a reason to back the first half over the second half. I wish I could look at the database right now, but I can't. Chris earlier mentioned, the Dream more of a second half team. I think that's what he was saying. But
Yeah.
83.5 does sound like a discount. But you didn't look at the first half. I'm trying to pull up the number. Yeah, 83.
The only reason I didn't is because Atlanta's scoring so heavy in the second half. But
Fair.
It doesn't mean 83.5 is very doable in a Dallas game for sure.
And 169, I still don't think is high enough. So I'm in agreement there. I guess we can move over to the next game that looks like Lynx and Mystics. And this has just been a headache. It opened -7. Like 10 minutes ago, it was just -11. Now it's back down to 7. The total open 160. It looks like we'll call the consensus 158 right now. We definitely need the injury report for this game. And let me refresh it too. So Nafisa Collier is out, finally listed as out after being in and out the whole morning. Brittany Sykes now questionable with the leg injury. 2 players who make a big difference for both of their teams, especially scoring-wise. So when I see that a dip in the total, I can understand why. The last 2 games for the Lynx, like Nafisa Collier got hurt in that Aces game, and they started to struggle offensively. Then the next game, they didn't look so hot offensively either. They picked it up in the second half and played some defense, but the offense has been lacking a little bit. That makes me nervous. If you're one of the people who likes over in this game, and I'd be even more nervous when I see Brittany Sykes on the injury report. So if I'm thinking like that, I have to lean towards under 158.5. How you feel about it, Veno?
Well, you know me. I'm going to try and find a way to get to some form of over. And I think the best way, and the way I actually recommended for clients here, was Minnesota first half. It's 43.5, their team total. Few reasons why. First off, let me just mention that Jessica Shepard's back from Eurobasket, which is big for
That's a big
Minnesota.
deal.
On the boards and inside scoring. I think her field goal percentage is the second best on the team this year, almost 60% from the field. So that's a little bit of a boost from the offensive side. It's been back to back, like you said, slow first half starts for Minnesota. The Vegas game, actually, it was a completely slow offensive game for Minnesota. And then the first half last game was not good. But the second half, like you mentioned, they scored 48 the other night in the second half, and it started to look to me like maybe they were getting a little used to or accustomed to not having Nafisha Collier on the floor. They've done it once before this season. I think she sat out earlier in the year, one game where they didn't look good offensively. So it looked like with a couple of games under their belt now that they're starting to get a little bit more comfortable. The Shepard return, they had played. And again, these are with Collier, so you have to take them with a grain of salt. They had played 5 straight games, scoring 44 or more in the first half. They have the potential to get to this number. Washington's first half defense was the selling point for me. I know we don't have the website available right now, Skee, because of technical problems, but you go in there, and I got ultra lucky on Sunday because I played the Mystics first quarter. And they got off to a big first quarter. They had like a 15-point. And then the second quarter, they were a disaster.
Collapsed. Yeah.
Their first half numbers are bad. It's like 4-10 ATS or something to that effect. It's been vulnerable to points scored. They've given up over 43 points in 5 of their last 6 in the first half. So now without Sykes, who's, pretty solid defensively, it could be even more trouble for them here. Minnesota still, and again, we know Nafisha Collier has a lot to do with this. They're still number 1 in the WNBA in field goal percentage and 3-point percentage and effective field goal percentage. They're number 3 in offensive rating. They can get the job done. And that Mystics defense that was pretty good to start the year, it's drifted all the way down to number 8 in defensive rating and points allowed. So I'm thinking Minnesota probably has a focal point here of getting off to a quicker start, especially springboarding off the 48-point second half that they just got done with and get themselves to 44 here. So smaller play, but I do like Minnesota first half over their team total of 43.5. Full game, without Collier, without Sykes, if you're playing full game total, I'm in total agreement with you. It's hard to get there, especially the way Minnesota plays defense. Washington, real quick. I had a note here real quick on Shakira Austin, who's gone crazy the last couple of games. She's been good.
Finally starting again.
49 points last 2 games combined. So Austin will have to be handled by the Minnesota D, which is capable of that.
Yeah, she's finally starting again. So that's probably why the Mystics look a little bit better lately, etc. Couple things that you said there. I get it. The big second half from the Lynx, but at the same time, I mean, they were playing the Sparks. Sparks defense is just completely garbage. They can't stop anybody. Mystics, they're not the greatest defense, but it's hard to be worse than the Sparks. So we'll see if they start to figure some stuff out, I guess, tonight. And secondly, you mentioned about the Lynx defense, how they were really good and then they kind of fell off lately. Well, or fell off recently, right? That's what you said.
The Mystics defense, it was better. Now it's down to 8th.
Okay.
Lynx defense is good. The Mystics defense is it was sort of top 5 for a while, and now it's just gone backwards.
Well, Chris in the chat, he is going with the second half as well. You like the first half team total. He likes the full game team total. He says, think Minnesota lights Washington's 3-point defense up, and it'll be played with a little bit of pace. So we shall see. We shall see. If I'm playing this game, I'm sorry, but I guess I'm in disagreement. I'm not really liking points anymore. I would lean under 158.5. That's kind of how I'm viewing this one. But I'm not the one who put the money on it, so take it with a grain of salt. All right, next up, Sparks and Sky. Opened up Sparks -3.5 on the road. Up, I mean, I see 5.5s out there, some 5s as well. Total open 162.5, and it's on the move right now. I see it all over the place on my odds screen. There is a 167.5, There's a 165.5. So make sure, and everything in between. Make sure you line shop depending on what you like. As far as injuries are concerned, for the Sparks, I mean, usual suspects, Cameron Brink, Ray Burrell, they've been out forever. Julie Allemán, I feel like it's missed a handful of games. Odyssey Sims has been missing games too. And we've talked about, first of all, nobody out for the Sky. They have everybody. But we've talked about this Sparks offense without their point guard, Odyssey Sims. They've been terrible. Um, and the defense continues to be bad too. So my first thought here, Rob, is no way am I laying with the Sparks on the road. I don't really care who they're playing against. I just think the defense is that terrible. And until they show me they can generate offense consistently without a point guard, there's no way I could lay with them. The Sky, their last game with Cardoso here today, until she returns from her overseas commitment, I think that they'll put in a really good effort to go out there and get a win. I like point forward Angel Reese. I don't really like all the other guards, but I think Chicago will be able to score on the Sparks. I do. So whether it's Chicago team total over, whether it's Chicago plus 5.5, those are the only ways that I could think about playing this game personally. How do you feel about it, Vino?
Well, I was part of the mad surge to the full game over 62.5, now up to 67, like you say, in some spots. But I just see scoring from both sides. Anybody who watched that Phoenix game against Chicago on Saturday, I mean, Chicago, honestly, I don't think they're capable of defending the perimeter. Too many bigs out there. Phoenix got these matchups and then wide open jumpers. Phoenix is not even a terrific. I shouldn't say this because Phoenix's overall statistics will show you that they're not a terrific three-point shooting team. But since Phoenix has become whole again, they're a really dynamic offensive team. They showed it. They got to 107 against the Sky on Saturday. Atlanta comes back, pounds Chicago again for 90 plus. They can't play any defense. It's just there's no way. The Sparks are bad. The Sky is worse. And at least with Kelsey Plum handling the ball, and at least with LA being about, I think they're like sixth in three-point shooting in the league. They've got capable scorers. I feel like they're going to get their points here. And vice versa. Chicago's bench has done a really good job scoring the basketball. Cardosa, you didn't say she's out of this game, right? She's still in. She's going to go to Brazil.
Last game.
Yeah, it's her last game, and then she's going to take off. So I think that it's funny with Camila Cardoso because she looked really good scoring in the paint. I think it was Saturday or the game before, and then they went away from her. So I don't know what exactly is going on there. But it's a team that really wants to play open floor spacing when they run their better. They made a switch the other day, Skee. They put Rachel Bannerman at starting point guard to try and avoid some of the turnover problems because the turnover issues were huge against Phoenix. And she handled the ball pretty well. They didn't turn it over as much. They just could not defend from the outside. I think you're going to get pace here. The Sparks have been playing with pace. Chicago has picked it up the last couple of games. I think they find that they're better when they run. And if they can solve a few turnover problems again, they probably get their share. Number really looked low to me. And what was head scratching to me right off the bat was when the game moved quickly in favor of the Sparks. And I thought to myself, well, what's going on there? Is Cardoso not going to play? Is Cameron Brink coming back? Is this why they're pushing LA? I don't really understand the move toward LA, except it's money that doesn't believe in the Chicago Sky defense right now. And I can't say that I do either. So for me, both of these teams, miserable defenses. I took over 162.5. Maybe you have a little bit of wiggle room still here at 67. But it's why you got to get to them quick because that's a 4.5 point move. It's a big move.
It is a big move. Questions in the chat. I can't look at a database to tell you any numbers right now about first half, first full game. We've said that it's not working today. Thoughts in general? I mean, I don't have any reason to like a first half more than a full game without looking at any data, honestly. I told you how I feel about the game, though. Another question or another more comments. Chris said, talk him off a Sparks team total over. I don't want to talk you off, but what I will say is I absolutely do not like the Sparks offense without Odyssey Sims. They've been pathetic. So that would be me doing my best to talk. If as bad as the Sky defense has been, Sparks offense has been just as bad without a point guard. That's all I will say. Um, Chris says Sky defense had the Mercury looking like they were the Celtics. The Mercury are good. The Mercury are underrated. The Mercury are healthy right now. Don't sleep on them. Don't think that, don't downgrade the Sky because how good the Mercury are playing. That would be what I think about those two comments there. Let's see. Yeah, if I'm playing this one, it's Sky or Sky team total.
Real quick, because I do have in my own database, I've got some first half numbers for the person who was asking about first half numbers. The Sky are 4-1 ATS their last 5 against in the first half, and the Sparks, believe it or not, are 5-2 ATS first half. So you got 2 real good first half teams recently. One's 4-1 last 5, the other is 5-2 last 7.
And I'm just double checking to see what the best number, if I were to play a team total here, would be. For the Sky, I do see 80.5. I mean, just to clear 80, man, the Sparks gave up 89 to the Valkyries, who couldn't score. They couldn't even clear 80 in any game for like the whole season. They gave up 80 something to the Aces without Asia Wilson, who've been struggling. Why can't the Sky go score above 80 tonight? That seems like a pretty good bet to me. You talk me off that one. Well, you're on the over. You think this guy?
Yeah, I want you to. I want you to win that one, Skee. Go ahead and open up your apps and fire. I'm rooting for you because I think they both can get there. For LA, it's going to be a significant step down in class here. They just played the Lynx defense, which is really, really tough, and now they get the Sky, which is really, really soft. So, should be pretty good on both ends. I'm hoping for it.
Can we look at it the same way? The opposite. I mean, the Dream. We just talked about the number 1 offense. The Dream, the best 3-point shooting team, right? Phoenix, healthy, loaded. I mean, isn't it the same for the Sky? They're going to play a much less potent offense tonight.
Yeah, and if you add into that, Skee, that the very next day they played Atlanta, so they played Phoenix and Atlanta back to back. The Sky did, and got absolutely obliterated. So to that point, this is a step down in offensive class for them. I think I weigh the defensive end of the ball a little bit more. For the Phoenix-Chicago game, it's the amount of open threes. And I'm with you 100%. I almost, I don't go to X too much or Twitter too much unless I'm sitting there having something to drink while I'm watching the game. But I'm thinking to myself, Phoenix is a legitimate team right now. That's a legitimate team with a whole bunch of rookies. Watching that game, their last couple, because it goes back to the game against the Liberty, where they played the Liberty really well and beat them in New York. I know that Jonquel Jones got hurt in that game, but still, I'm with you on that thought process. I should have looked up their future board because Phoenix has a lot of options right now. They're good.
Very good. Definitely think they're capable of winning. So it could be something worth looking at future wise. Let's keep going. Justin Coolin says, "Don't do it." He likes the Sparks. And Casey, I agree with Casey. Both teams are cheeks.
There you go. That's the polite way.
The Teddy way. Only me and you know about that. If Teddy's watching, he knows what we're talking about.
Yeah.
All right. Last game on the slate. That was a good one, yeah. 627, 628 Fever in Seattle. Opened up -1 for the Storm. -3.5 right now. Total open 166. And it looks like 160. Well, this is one where you got to do some line shopping, right? We'll call it 168 as the consensus right now. So depending on what you like, make sure you get the best of the number. Who's available, who is not? For the Storm, Lexi Brown is game time. DeWanna Bonner, I feel like she's just about to retire. So we haven't seen her in a little bit. Maybe she just wanted to go out there and bump her name up a couple spots on the all-time scoring list, get to third, and then retire. I don't know. Who knows? But we haven't seen DeWine Bonner in a while, and I don't think we will in the near future. Back to this game. I'm gonna pass this one to you first, Vino. I like this game, but I'm curious to see what you think about these two line moves. One towards the over, one towards the storm.
I totally agree with the line move toward the storm. Um, and I feel like the two of us have come full circle on Seattle, where we were and where maybe we stand. Maybe I'm speaking for you. I'm not sure, but where I'm concerned, it's like night and day. Ever since Erica Wheeler got put into that starting lineup, it's been a different offensive team. A team that didn't have anybody who, other than Skylar Diggins, who could really, it seemed early on, could get anybody off the dribble. Now, with Wheeler, an extra player who can create her own buckets. And we talked earlier, I want to get this out there real quick because I made a point of noting how well Shakira Austin has been playing lately. Nneka has been on fire. Last 3 games, Nneka Ogwumike, 35 of 49 from the field, 71.4% from the field, 77 points, 26.7 per game. This whole lineup shift where Wheeler took over the 2, Gabby Williams went to the 3. It's opened things up, especially for Skylar Diggins and Nneka Ogwumike. So Seattle's a different offense, which has now scored 89 or more in 5 of their last 6. Mm-hmm. They're just an offensive machine right now. And so it's hard to think that they can't score against Indiana, right, with that defense. And it's a defense that's been on the road. Indiana, I believe it's the 3rd straight road game, right? They just played Las Vegas the other day, played Golden State before that. So they could be a little bit fatigued. I know that they want to get a road win because they lost 2 in a row, but I looked at it from 2 angles. First of all, to me, Indiana's come out of the chute playing really well offensively in a lot of games recently since Caitlin Clark has returned. The second half, for some reason, they can't find the basket anymore. It happened again against Las Vegas the other day. So for me, 41.5 first half team total Indiana, I think is worth playing over. They've actually scored
41.5.
41.5.
Oh,
so they need to get to 42.
Okay.
They've gotten above it. Just real quick, 4 straight games, 53, 47, 44, 42 against Las Vegas on Sunday. Seattle is giving it up in the first half. As much as I'm talking up their offense, their defense, 5 of the last 6 first half allowed 43, 49, 44, 45, and 42. Their first half defense has given up over 41, 5 of the last 6. So to me, that was a nice matchup. But Seattle, it's hard to pinpoint them which half they're going to score their points, but they've gone over 50 points and a half, more than any team in the WNBA this season. And it's usually second half. And it could be second half here. So with all that, when I put it all together, I think Indiana first half team total is a really nice number. As we say all the time, we're betting numbers. 41.5 seems like a low number for Indiana to get over, considering how bad Seattle's first half defense has been, or at least how many points they've been giving up, and then full game over. I think Seattle has every opportunity to get to 90 here. Going to be played with some pace because Indiana just forces pace. Even the Aces got 89 the other day against them. A lot of it from the free throw line at the end. But Seattle's just too good right now offensively, Skee, for me. So I like it that way. And if I was playing side, to those who got Seattle quickly, only laying 1 point. I thought it was a mistake when it came up as the opener, Seattle -1. It probably should have opened in this range. They're a good team right now.
I agree with a lot of what you said. Seattle has been playing well. I've backed them a couple times in a row. The offense, since they put Erica Wheeler in there, has been really good. I agree with all of those things. I also agree that the opening line was interesting to see it at -1. As good as the Storm have been playing, as fevered off a couple losses, that stood out to me. It feels like they're almost begging you to go take Seattle. And I don't like when I feel like they're begging me to come put my money up there at the window. I don't like it. So I thought about it more because it got to be a reason it's this low. I think, and Chris says Sunday DraftKings had Indiana as the favorite. So we all the way to the opposite here. I think, and again, I said I've agreed with a lot of what you said about Seattle, but coming off a really big win against the Liberty, or the number 2 team in the W, um, I think we see a little bit of a letdown spot from the Storm here. And I think the Fever are the more hungry team. The Fever are now below 500 off a couple losses after leading at halftime in both of the games. I think that's the team you expect a full effort from start to finish. You talked about first half Fever team total. Fever have been good early in the games, like you mentioned. I think they've covered 4 of their last 5, maybe won 4 of their last 5 first halves. Storm all season long, Rob Veno. If you want to go, anybody want to go look up the numbers, it'll back it up. The Storm have been a much better second half team than first half team. So the combination of a letdown spot in my mind for Seattle versus a motivation spot for Fever, it makes me really like the Fever early. I like that first half team total that you said. I think the Fever will be winning after 20 minutes. And I really honestly think that, it's in their mind that they got to do it for a full 40 minutes this time. So I think the Fever are alive. I think the opening number was correct for those reasons. And the total, I'm in agreement. The Storm have been scoring. I'm not a huge believer in the Fever defense. I think both teams can score, whether it comes in the first half or second half. I don't really want to stay for both teams, but I do like that Fever first half team total. Anything else you want to add or think about that?
Yeah, let me just give you one note that I had that I didn't give you the first time around. It's half the reason why, I banged my head against the wall in the Aces game, and I'm banging my head against the wall with Indiana team total again here, except in first half version. But Caitlin Clark's Skee last 2 games is 1 for 17 from 3. Now, I'm a bounce back player. 1 for 17, Caitlin Clark from 3. At some point, she's going to make some threes. And again, when I looked at how many points Seattle's been giving up in the first half, I thought, you know what, Indiana, you mentioned it. I feel the same way, that they're on this road trip. They want to get one win. Whether or not they can is another story, but they certainly have the motivation to. Caitlin Clark's going to shoot the basketball. At some point, it's going to go in from deep, and hopefully tonight's the night, and especially early. So maybe we need a little like one of those hockey sirens when they score a goal, and when you and I kind of agree on first half total, first half side, little parlay action, we can get that red signal to go off, because I'm with you on a lot of that.
I like it. I like when we line up like that. I think this is some props. We didn't talk about many props, so let's put this up here from Snake Person 2482. Says Skylar Diggins 2+ threes, Gabby Williams over her PRA, Sonia Citron 12+ points, Aaliyah Boston 8+ rebounds. Some prop looks from Snake Person. Appreciate you sharing those. I think we did a pretty good job here. 4 games. I mean, we went a little bit over 30 minutes, 33 minutes, but we did a pretty deep dive, I want to say, on some of these games. So, as my guy Dutch said, we gave you guys way more than you need, I guess, for these ones. We'll move it on over. Before we get to best bets, actually, we do a little bit of promo. So it is the last day for this. 30 days of winning picks, and you pay for just 14. So pretty much you're paying for 2 weeks, and you get 2 weeks free. Like a week pass, I believe, is $99 for all sports. So if you put those two together, that's what you'll be paying for 30 days if you take advantage of this, which expires tonight. And I do not have a banner or a picture for the next one, but there was a 7-day. It's a 7-day pass. Either you can do, what is it called, the flex. It's a 4th of July thing, so it's all the way through 4th of July. You can get 7-day all access or flex for $69, and that's like I said, good through July 6th. So if you want to try somebody out, you guys see the link to both of our pages on the bottom of the screen. Those are a couple ways that you can try it or do it. All right, now we'll move it over to best bets for the show, and I will pass it to you. I'll ask you if there's anything else that you would like to promote. And if you have a best bet for the show, feel free to share. If you don't, it's all good. Like you said, like I said, we gave them way more than they need already. So if you feeling more generous.
Yeah. For those for those Rob Veno detractors out there, and there are a few who say that maybe I talk a little too much. I like to call it thorough, Skee. I think we were thorough today in our description of those 4 games. And as Skee said, Casey, maybe you want to try somebody out. We sometimes get ourselves into a little. Whenever we talk about that flex package, we get ourselves in trouble. It's $5 Tuesday at Wager Talk, guys. That's one thing we left out here. $5 Tuesday. Go over to wagertalk.com. All handicappers have a $5 play available. If you have been interested in selection packages and haven't really done it yet because of price or whatever the reason, $5 Tuesday is a good time to check it out. Mine's up and available. Skee's up and available. Check us out over there at wagertalk.com. Yeah, we described these plays pretty thoroughly. I'll go back to the beginning. I do think that Atlanta and Dallas find their way into the 170s here. Even though the game has gone up, it's risen to 169. I think 170 is a very viable landing spot for those two teams. So I'm going to leave that. I like a lot on the card today, but I'll leave that as the best bet here. Atlanta, Dallas, up and over 160. I guess what's the best I can get there? 169, I think, at this point in time. I will say to you guys, I bet it at a better number, 66.5, but you can still get 69. I think you can still cash your ticket at that price.
Yeah, 69. You're trying to get me in trouble now. 169 is the best number you can get for that Rob Veno best bet there. For myself, I like a lot on the card today. I'm gonna tell you, I've only played 2 so far, but I'm gonna be adding a few. I am. So, what I'll share for my best bet for the show. Let me actually line shop. I want to give you guys the best number. I did play it already, but just to make sure. Boom, boom. We're going to go to the last game we just talked about. And best number you can get right now, I see plus 125 at the place where you can normally catch me watch the games. I'm going with the first half Fever on the money line. I think that, like I said, it's a letdown spot for the Storm. I think they throw the first punch. I think they're hungry off 2 straight losses below 500. I think a little bit of fat and happy, I guess that's how they call it, right, for the Storm in this one. So Fever throw the first punch. Best bet for the show, plus 125 on the first half money line. That wraps it up. So, Veno, I always appreciate you taking the time to come cap these games with me. Helps my process. I'm sure you help everybody else out there in the chat. And for you guys in the chat, we appreciate all of you as well. Great people, great cappers. Even the people who can't comment, people watching on Spotify or Apple Radio. Is it Apple Radio or Apple Podcast? Wherever you're watching, we appreciate you. We'll be back here again tomorrow. There's 2 WNBA games, 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, 1:30 Eastern. And we will catch you all then. Best of luck.